What's up, guys? Boy, where to begin? Williams, F1. Where to begin on that? I'm sitting here thinking, I'd love to know what you guys think. Where do Williams go? Well, look, they said the sell of the team is one option. Minority stake, majority stake, I'm sure Sir Frank and Claire would want to have some sort of ownership and still involvement in the team. What do you do? The interesting thing to me is that Claire said that they've had a couple of bad years, and I would argue they've had several bad years. Is it fair to say, well, Williams was a championship winning team and now they're not? Well, look, teams come in and out of competitiveness, right? Ferrari was a championship winning team too, and they haven't been for quite a while. So I don't think that's fair on Williams. I tend to say yes. I think financially the team have had a couple of years, and I think Claire's right in saying that. I would say that maybe 4, 5, 6 years. The last time they were really doing well, if you think back to Montoya and with Ralph Schumacher and those times, those kind of when Toto Wolff was an investor, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's sad to see the team to this point where they're looking to sell the team. They just went through leveraging Williams Engineering and put a lot of their assets on the line, and Latifi bought into the team as well. And now with Rocket, I don't know what's happening. Maybe you guys have seen some information that I haven't read yet, but my hunch is when a team departs with a title sponsor so abruptly like that maybe Rocket, I don't know this, but maybe Rocket's investment or cash wasn't forthcoming in the time frame with the contract. I don't know. Or it could be that Rocket wasn't pleased with the performance, but the year hasn't started yet, and we're not sure if it will. So it's difficult to say that Williams' performance. And speaking of that, out of testing, I kind of feel like most of the pundits that were running the numbers and looking at the information were saying, hey, we're not suggesting that Williams is going to be a front runner, but they have improved quite a bit, and that bode well. And I was actually excited to see how they would do this year. I wasn't expecting them to be challenging for wins, but my hope was that they could be a lot closer to the midfield than what we've seen in the past 2 years, to Claire's point, having a couple of difficult years. So, yeah, difficult to know what Williams is going to do this year performance-wise, but it's interesting. They're saying, hey, we're open. We're open to selling a majority stake, minority stake, investment. We're open to all kinds of things, and then yet say, but we're looking forward to get this season started, and we've got cash to do that. So I assume maybe the original leverage of Williams Engineering with Latifi to buy in was to keep everything going, that they could race this year. The lack of the money from maybe the title sponsor and the abrupt departure of that title sponsor, my guess would be maybe that means that, yeah, they're definitely in the hunt for more cash. I don't know, what do they have, 650, 700 employees or so? Furlough was standing. I haven't seen anything that they've laid anyone off. Or that they're cutting heads, so to speak, which bodes well. That must mean they have some cash. I don't know. I've given Claire some shtick over the last few years, and I've certainly read quite a bit on all sides of the argument about Claire. It's a difficult position to be in, and from my perspective, at the end of the day, regardless of what you think about her leadership or not, the Williams family has been, the Williams family has been, incredibly committed and dedicated to racing, and certainly Sir Frank is a racer at heart and always has been. Doesn't necessarily mean that his daughter is to the core the racer that Sir Frank is, but she's born and raised around racing, and she's steeped in it and has been. And I would argue that she probably is very much of a racing mindset. But there's a difference between her life experiences and what Frank has done. So, where does that lead us? I don't know. It's a bad situation for Williams. Someone had asked me on social media, so, well, is this where Latifi steps in and buys the rest of the company? I'm not quite sure. Williams very, very much so is an independent team. It's always that conundrum where Williams got their start by using customer cars, but now, as a constructor, is adamantly against customer cars and not for that. They're very much proud of their constructor position for a host of good reasons, I suspect. One of least of which is they're spending the money to build their own car, and if they're doing that, they kind of feel like everyone else should too. And there's a point to be made there, and certainly the regulations would support that. But having said that, they're committed to that team. They're committed to their employees, and they truly are an independent privateer team. They don't have a lot of big manufacturer backing apart from buying an engine from Mercedes, but certainly I would imagine there are ties there between Toto Wolff and Mercedes and Williams as a customer. Just how much they could get on a parts list, I don't know. How much better could Williams be now with this $145 million cost cap? Their performance, the aero performance handicap system, would that benefit them? There's probably a few things that Claire's hanging her hat on and saying, look, I think we can be more competitive with this cost cap. I think we can be a more viable going concern as a team, and that may seem a little bit more attractive to potential investors. I don't know if Latifi has an appetite to take over the team, and I don't know if he wants to or spend the kind of money that Lawrence Stroll is on Raising Point. Difficult to know at this point, but let me know what you guys think. I don't know. Tough situation. I hated to see the news this week about that, and I just thought I'd make a quick video, share a couple thoughts of mine, which are neither here nor there. I'm a fan like you guys, but I'd be interested to know what you think about it. I'm hoping there might be an investor. There's these rumors about Racing Point now and Aston Martin, and I saw some rumors that I think Bild was saying that Mercedes is using this opportunity to bail out and move Aston Martin Racing Point into the prime position and sort of taking over the Mercedes F1 team and merging in one big fail swoop. Now Mercedes have rebuked that and said that's not true. But as we know, F1, sometimes there's smoke, there's fire. We haven't heard this imminent announcement that Toto's re-upped. I saw another rumor that Toto is actually leaving Mercedes. I don't know. A lot going on this year. It's strange times, man. Strange times. I certainly unprecedented because I've never been through this with F1 before, and it's a difficult situation. I don't know that these change. I will say that I think these unprecedented times with COVID-19, I think Formula One has made the best of this crisis situation to put a lot of pressure, not maybe in a hostile way. I'm not in those meetings. But I think they're using this to really drive the cost cap, to really drive a new Concord agreement. And a lot of that comes down to the business model that was instituted in 2013 with this new engine and everything that was done to keep the top teams signed to Formula One, i.e. Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. The legacy payment, I know, is really a sticking point with Ferrari for sure, for obvious reasons. I think this could be where Formula One and Chase Carey are going to have to get really strong. I think they're probably using this situation to get everyone at the table because they're already financially struggling. The cost cap seems to make more sense. They've got to get a plan for the next 24 months that Formula One survives, these teams survive, and what they're going to do. And I think this actually plays to their hand in getting a Concord agreement signed. The business model is what's hurting Claire. The Formula One business model is hurting her and the entire team and their ability to be competitive. This is why I've been saying since 2014 that this engine is bankrupting the sport. The amount of money spent on the development. Now, one of the big changes now is that FIA understands that after all these years of bankrupting teams, they're going to homologate this engine, which should freeze a lot of the expense and development on this engine and make them more affordable. I don't know. We'll see if it makes them more affordable. Hopefully it will. They could have done this a long time ago in 2015, 2016, and gone back to a V8 that was off the shelf. And that's not attractive, and people don't want to hear that. But I was saying in 2014, this is a very bad idea. You're bankrupting teams, and for the safety of the sport, you should go back to the V8 and get an off-the-shelf V8 that people can be competitive and develop entertaining racing, and then figure out how to redo this business model so they can all survive. But, you know, I was the sound of one hand clapping back then, and I wasn't very popular in my assessment because I was, anti-green, anti-hybrid, and, that's not true at all. The hybrid's an awesome engine, just nobody can afford it. So that's where Claire's at. That's what's hurting Williams. And hopefully, with the changes that F1 wants to do, it will make Williams a little bit more of an attractive investment from an outside or inside investor to really keep this team going, with or without the Williams. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, just a quick video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all safe.